What is up, NASCAR Racing fans? You're watching the Coca-Cola 600 Stock Edition on the HSL Diecast Racing Network. This is the longest race of the year, and it officially marks the halfway point of the 2025 NASCAR NITTRO Series season. If you enjoyed the action during the All-Star race, get ready for a good show today because we got the same exact track with 4 times the cars. And for the first time ever in NITRO Series history, none of the mail-ins DNQ'd. Only one double DNF in the preliminary qualifying round, and that brought our pole sitter and points leader William back into the main bracket, where he beat some of the NITRO Series fastest cars on the outside to win the pole and start next to his teammate Rowan. And it's an Uncle Elvis party today as his twin brother Clyde got in the last chance race, but Clyde's got to go through Pantoni and several of these new drivers in order to challenge his brother for the lead. But it looks like Margot is going to be his biggest threat for this lap. Margot rides his back bumper all the way across the finish line to kick off lap number 1, and cautions out for the first El Recco of the day. That is Gail from In-Laws Racing, the satellite team of Puffs Racing. She can't be happy about that result after getting a podium in her debut. And on that first lap, Margot moved up to second place, Rowan to third, Clyde from 7th all the way up to 4th. Pantoni loses a spot. Ricky Rudd stays in 6th. Gates are down for lap number 2. It's trouble for Rowan. He gets loose out of the start gate. Cautions out El Recco. He flips before they even get onto the fat track. Meanwhile, Margot on the outside giving it everything to pass William. But he's the points leader for a reason. Side drafts Margot into the guardrail. And look who got 3rd place is going to be drafting behind him. That's right, it's Clyde, his twin brother and teammate. As we look over at Rowan's wreckage, they're going to try and finish 1-2 in this segment for their teammate. And I don't know where the heck Casey Kane went. He's upside down in the grass somewhere. He's focused on the modified race anyway. Got in as the 43rd starter. So it'll be 5 cars left in this segment. And for lap number 3, Margot's got a tough task ahead of her, trying to defend second place from Clyde, who's now drafting with his identical twin. And when these two 60-gram T-Birds are nose to tail, they are very tough to beat. And as predicted, the McDonald twins pull away to a commanding lead, bump drafting all the way through the turn, smooth as butter. The rest of the cars fall in behind them. Pantoni picks up 4th from Ricky Rudd, and it's going to be more of the same for lap number 4. But this time Margot on the inside is putting up quite a bit of a fight, and she tries to wedge herself underneath Clyde. It doesn't work. Margot's on her side, leaning against the track barrier. That push from Ricky Rudd just makes things worse, and Margot's on her side and out of the race. Just terrible luck for a car that finished real good in her debut. Looked like she could challenge William for a little bit there. Right now, her loss is Pantoni's gain. He's lined up behind William, but he and Ricky Rudd are going to need a miracle at this point. The McDonald twins form a wall as they head into the turns. And now that they've got a formidable lead, Clyde falls into formation. William takes this by a whole track segment over his brother. And they'll be starting 1-2 for the final lap. They've been an unstoppable juggernaut for most of this segment, and their biggest enemy is each other. So the gates are now down for the final lap. Ricky Rudd is nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, the McDonald twins forming that impenetrable wall again. They break off into formation. Pantoni tries to catch Clyde for second place. Clyde turns himself sideways and blocks. Meanwhile, William takes the checkered flag, and he's moving on to the main event. Great job by the McDonald twins and Uncle Elvis Racing on your 1-2 finish. Ricky Rudd seems to have stalled his car at the start gate. That's going to be a mechanical DNF for him. That'll probably cost him 40 to 50 points when it's all said and done. But now it's time for segment number 2. On the front row, we have 2 newcomers, Charlie and Alicia Lunatic. One of each representing the Gimpy Gang and In-Laws Racing. Behind them is Morgan Shepherd and Baby Richie. Alicia's teammate Russ is next to Dave Marcus, who entered the league after buying Crazy Ruby's old car. And finally, Nessa Force got in on the last chance race. The gates are down. Charlie has a car-length lead heading into the turns, but it's a tight pack behind her. Morgan and Alicia side by side. Everybody else bunches behind them. Morgan Shepherd gets the upper hand for this lap, takes second place. Russ moves up to 4th. The gates are now down for lap number 2. Charlie and Alicia get another great start. Getting some drafting help from Baby Richie. They're leaving the outside lane in the dust. Morgan Shepherd moves from 2nd to 5th as Alicia Lunatic tries to cut underneath Charlie. It doesn't work. Charlie throws a perfect block. Alicia almost loses 2nd. We're going to show this on the replay camera. You see here Alicia Lunatic trying to cut underneath Charlie. That doesn't work out as they switch lanes. Alicia gets sideways and Baby Richie tries to sneak in there and take her spot. What an incredible end to that lap. Now it's time for lap number 3, and Charlie's running away with this one. And then after her, about 2 car lengths between 2nd and 6th. Russ had a bit of a rough start on that lap. But take a look at Dave Marcus. Goes from 4th to 2nd. Passes 2 cars, including the car directly in front of him on the outside there. But can he challenge Charlie, though, who's been dominant the first half of this segment? She's racing with a chip on her shoulder. She crashed in her debut at Sonoma, where a lot of these other mid-season rookies got top 10s. And this looks like it's going to be another dominant lap for Charlie. She's got a 2-car length lead over Alicia, who retakes second from Dave Marcus. And he actually almost lost third to Nessa Force on that lap. That's been this segment in a nutshell so far. Everyone's so busy trying to fight each other for points. They're just letting Charlie run away with this. And Charlie can't be any more happy about this with 2 to go. Gets a great push from Dave Marcus. Maintains the lead over a car length heading into the turns. Dave Marcus holds a block to try to hold on to second place and cautions out Major El Reco. Looks like we got a double DNF. It's Nessa Force and Dave Marcus, and they were both upright heading into the final track segment. Closing in on the final lap after all that clean racing. You can't help but feel bad for that kind of horrible luck. The gates are down for the final lap, and Charlie is running away with this. Even more so than she has before. She's got a half a track segment lead before they even leave the split track. Morgan Shepherd and Baby Richie battling it out for third. Morgan Shepherd got the upper hand there. And Charlie, whose full name is Charlotte, will move on to her first career main event at the track she shares a name with. Might have been a little more motivation. Now it's time for segment number 3. We got Far Out Jay on the pole. Next to him is Lord Shank. Far Out Jay looked really fast in qualifying for both races, but he's currently 78th in points after a first lap DNF in his debut, but he does not look like he's worth 78th in points. He's got a full car length lead over Johnson Jr., Skeeter Davis, and Tristan Racewelski, all of whom have had multiple top 5 finishes. But it's Johnson Jr. that's now moved himself to the front row to challenge Far Out Jay for lap number 2. The gates are down, and Lord Shank is showing up now. He's trying to throw his hat in the ring. He lost a spot on the last lap. He wants to stay up front. He's making his car 2 lanes wide, blocks the rest of the field. Skeeter Davis almost catches Johnson Jr. for third. And now for lap number 3, nobody seems to have anything for Far Out Jay, who's driving with an even bigger chip on his shoulder than Charlie was. Coming out of the turns with a 2-car length lead, takes a bad angle. That allows Johnson Jr. to slip by and take the lead for lap number 4. We're at the halfway point, and it's still anybody's race. Lord Shank almost took second place from him. Tristan Racewelski, something might be wrong with his car because he flips over at the last second there after losing all of his momentum coming out of the turns. A rough day for him. Johnson Jr. leads the field to green with 3 laps to go. But look at that push Far Out Jay got from Sterling Marlin. And now Marlin's riding that momentum to try and pass the whole inside lane. Now we got some real aggressive bump drafting in the turns. Lord Shank and Johnson Jr. get a bit squirrely there as everyone bunches up behind Far Out Jay. And would you look at that, Lord Shank takes second from Johnson Jr. Now it's time for lap number 5. We got a lot of fast cars, a lot of bumping and banging so far. Skeeter Davis somehow in 5th place here. But the question is, does any of these guys have anything for Far Out Jay? He's continuing to dominate this segment heading into the turns. Meanwhile, Lord Shank takes second place, trying to make something happen on the outside. He gets loose, blocks up the rest of the field. That enables Skeeter Davis to get past Johnson Jr. for third. Meanwhile, Sterling Marlin, your championship runner-up last year, has fallen back to 5th place. And now the gates are down for the final lap of this segment. And right away, Far Out Jay gets a half a car length lead ahead of Lord Shank. The cars are fanned out one by one now. Skeeter Davis is moving in for second place. Lord Shank tried to push him off the track there. It doesn't work. Lord Shank gets loose. It's going to be Skeeter Davis following in behind Far Out Jay to the finish line while the rest of the field falls into line behind him. Johnson Jr. falls all the way back to 5th place. A horrible last 2 laps for him. Meanwhile, Coffee Tart and Gator McCluskey are going to lead the field down for segment number 4. Behind them is Emerson and Vinny Nightlife. Field fillers David Green and Martin Truex Jr. and Richie, who raced his way in the last chance race. The gates are down, and Coffee Tart and Gator McCluskey are side by side down the split portion of the track. Meanwhile, Vinny Nightlife challenges Emerson for third as Coffee Tart gets about a car length lead over Gator McCluskey heading into the fat track. Now Emerson's getting a push from David Green to try and take second away from Gator McCluskey. McCluskey throws a block. That's probably going to seal it for Coffee Tart for this lap. As the rest of the field falls into line behind him, looks like Richie picked up a spot there. David Green did too heading into lap number 2. The front runners stay the same. Coffee Tart, Gator McCluskey, and Emerson running 1, 2, 3. And the 3 of them should be pretty hard to get past for Vinny Nightlife and Richie. Gator and Coffee Tart are side by side heading into the turn now. Coffee Tart throws a block. Gator McCluskey gets loose, almost gets turned sideways in the turn, and you do not want to do that. Meanwhile, David Green's trying to challenge for third place, but Emerson was just too fast for him that lap. David Green, of course, had great qualifying runs last season, but had lots of bad luck. No actual positions changed on that lap, and now it's time for lap number 3. Coffee Tart gets a great push by her satellite teammate Emerson as they railroad past Gator McCluskey. Now Emerson's got the advantage for second place on Gator heading into the turns. Gator attempts a reverse side draft but turns himself sideways, a very risky gamble. It doesn't pay off for him. At least he's not on his roof. And there's some jostling for position in the back. Looks like Martin Truex took 6th place back from Richie. Lots of clean racing so far. Halfway through the segment, 0 DNFs. And this time it's a tight pack. Only 2-3 car lanes between 1st and 6th. Coffee Tart gets a bit of a lead heading into the turn. Gator McCluskey uses the inside advantage on Emerson to reverse side draft him into the wall and take 2nd place. Now they form a train heading to the finish line, and Martin Truex takes 5th from Vinny Nightlife and almost challenges David Green for 4th. Doesn't quite get there, but it has been the Coffee Tart show ever since lap number 1. There's just 2 to go now, and it's a race for 2nd place between Gator McCluskey and Emerson. The gates are down. Emerson and Martin Truex on the inside trying to bump draft past the outside lane, but Gator McCluskey's too fast and holds them up. Those identical Monte Carlo stocker castings form a nice tandem. And David Green gets loose, but he's already pushed Gator McCluskey well into 2nd place. Now Gator tags the bumper of Coffee Tart, trying to get her loose and push her off the track. It doesn't work, but he still holds on to 2nd place heading into the final lap. And cautions out for an El Reco. Vinny Nightlife gets sideways heading into the turn, running in 7th place. His season has gone to hell in a handbasket. Crashes from last place with 1 lap to go. The gates are down and Emerson gets caught on the guardrail. Without that push, Coffee Tart is now side by side with Gator McCluskey heading into the turn. Gator's trying to get into his first career main event in the Nitro Series. And look at that expert clutch side draft by Coffee Tart. Sends him sideways. He recovers, but he's going to finish 2nd. Coffee Tart to the main event. Gator McCluskey to the 2nds race. Emerson all the way back to the 5ths. And speaking of the 5ths, it's time for segment numero 5. We got N-Count and Jimbo Rockford to lead the field down. Behind them, Crazy Ruby and Riot Isaac. The field fillers of Intimidator and Michael Waltrip. And finally, the Joker car. The Joker's making his first appearance in a long time. Barely got into the race. He'll be starting in last for this segment. And the gates are down, and N-Count already has a 2-car length lead heading out of the turns. Crazy Ruby catches up on the backstretch, glued to his back bumper, and cautions out for the first El Reco of the segment. That is the Joker, and he just clinched a bottom 2 finish with that crash. This might be the last you've seen of that car. No other positions change except Crazy Ruby taking 2nd from Jimbo Rockford. N-Count's going to continue to lead him down, and the top 3 are stuck together this time at the drop of the gate. Jimbo Rockford and Crazy Ruby are side by side. Jimbo Rockford goes flying. He is up on his roof. Everyone but Crazy Ruby and Baby Richie are involved. Cautions out for what looks like the big one. We got to see just how bad the damage is. They are all piled up right out of the exit at turn number 2. Just give us 30 seconds to pivot the HSL drone over to the crash site. Michael Waltrip's on his wheels. Jimbo Rockford and N-Count made a recovery. Looks like everyone actually recovered from that. There's actually no DNF. Jimbo Rockford got the worst out of the deal, though. He is now in dead last with 4 laps to go, but that's still plenty of time to make a comeback. Crazy Ruby side by side with Riot Isaac heading into the turns. Crazy Ruby passes him on the inside without any drafting help. Gets loose, beaches herself on the guardrail. Now Riot Isaac takes over the lead, and N-Count passes her for 2nd. We're at the halfway point of this segment. It is still anybody's race. Tons of lead changes already. The gates are down, and Riot Isaac is getting a great push from Crazy Ruby. They are flying by N-Count. He catches up in the turns but can't make anything happen. He spins Crazy Ruby out and takes 2nd from her. Riot Isaac flies away from the rest of the crowd. Heading into 2 laps to go, it's going to be Riot Isaac and N-Count on the front row. The gates are down, and look what happens to Michael Waltrip. He flips on the split track. That hardly ever happened. Meanwhile, Riot Isaac and N-Count are side by side trading paint in the corners, both of them losing tons of momentum. N-Count gets the edge at the last second, gets loose, but maintains his lead. What an exciting lap that was. Heading into the final lap of segment number 5. You can see Michael Waltrip on his roof. They're one of the weirdest DNFs I've ever seen. Now it's time for the final lap. N-Count's going to lead him down. Next to him, Riot Isaac, and Crazy Ruby gets a great push off the start gate. Her and N-Count just fly past the inside lane. This is just a matter of whether Crazy Ruby can catch up and do anything. She is glued to N-Count's back bumper as they cross the finish line. Riot Isaac goes from 1st to 3rd in the final 2 laps. Tough break for him. But what an exciting segment. So many lead changes. Let's see if our 6th and final segment of the day can live up to that. On the front row, we have Sawyer for Uncle Elvis Racing and Texas Terry Labonte making his first race appearance since literally exploding on the track during the Martinsville qualifying. Behind them, Rusty Wallace and Regular Isaac, the field fillers of Darrell Waltrip and Benny Parsons, and Violet, who made it in on the last chance qualifier. The gates are down, and look at that jump the inside row gets. That heavy car of Violet pushing the drivers ahead to leave Terry Labonte and company in the dust. Coming out of turn number 2, Sawyer gets loose. Rusty Wallace tries to make a move, but it's too little too late. And it looks like Benny Parsons' NITTRO Series debut was a short one. He clinches second to last, only behind the Joker with that El Reco. And now the gates are down for lap number 2. Sawyer gets a 2-car length lead over Rusty Wallace. He is running away with this segment. Meanwhile, Darrell Waltrip just body slams Texas Terry off the track. And Sawyer gets loose coming out of turn number 2. Rusty Wallace almost catches him, but he throws a block to maintain the lead heading into lap number 3. I know y'all couldn't see it very well with the grass, but Texas Terry did land on his wheels, and this time Rusty Wallace gets a much better start. They're side by side heading into the fat track. They are still side by side beating and banging heading into the turn. Heading out at turn number 2, Rusty Wallace has had no answer for Sawyer's reverse side drafts. Meanwhile, Texas Terry comes back from 6th, almost takes 3rd place from Isaac. As we head to the halfway point of the segment, Sawyer's led every lap, but he's had to fight for it. Rusty Wallace certainly hasn't made it easy for him, and now he gets a full car length lead heading into the fat track. The best start Wallace has had so far, but look at Sawyer. Once again, gets underneath him in the corner, turns sideways, and that's some aggressive blocking by Sawyer. And it looks like Texas Terry edges out Rusty Wallace to retake 2nd place with 2 laps to go. And now the gates are down, and Texas Terry's challenging Sawyer for the lead. He gets a great jump off the start, but Sawyer, that Pontiac is a fast casting. He is running away from the field on this lap. Rusty throws a block to preserve 3rd, and Texas Terry just drives straight off the track. What the heck is he doing? He had 2nd place locked down heading into the final lap, and now he'll be starting that lap in last. Sawyer, once again, the most dominant we've seen him, as he has 1 more lap in him. And this is the tightest we've seen the pack on the gate drop since we started. Now they spread out a little bit more heading into this turn. And going through the turn, it's a straight line. Sawyer and Rusty Wallace, the class of the field today. Meanwhile, DW, trying to hold on to 3rd, stalls and blocks Texas Terry. Lets Isaac pass through there to head into the 3rd race. Terry only gains 1 spot on that last lap. And now the 6th race is underway. That's right, we have our very own 6th race. A lot of clean racing this race. 2 Daves, David Green and Davey Allison, going up against Violet, and that's an El Reco for David Green. And David Green, he's accustomed to wrecking from the lead. He did that a lot in the first season. And now the gates are down for lap number 2. And look at this split Davey Allison has over Violet. That's more than a track segment. Violet is catching up in the turns, but I don't think it'll be enough. Davey Allison will be moving on to the 5th race. Leading them down will be Texas Terry. Next to him, Johnson Jr. Behind them, Emerson and Russ, 2 of the new entries. And Davey Allison, your 6th race winner. And this is actually a great race heading into the corner. Texas Terry and Johnson Jr. are side by side. Heading out of the turn, it's a traffic jam, and Johnson Jr. is the odd man out. Texas Terry takes the lead heading into lap number 2. He's lined up next to Emerson. Behind them is Russ, Johnson Jr., and Davey Allison. And Texas Terry jumps to a 2-car length lead right away. But then he drives off the track again. That time he is upside down. Emerson runs away with it. He had this 5th race in the bag. He lost quite a few points on a self-inflicted error. You hate to see it. After coming back from that gruesome wreck, let's see if his teammate Morgan Shepherd can do any better in the 4th race. And it doesn't look like it. The outside lane gets too good of a jump from the start. And Sterling Marlin is flying away from the other 5 cars. Morgan Shepherd tries to get himself back into position. As he sends Emerson spinning, Emerson collects the whole field behind him. Darrell Waltrip makes it through to take 2nd place. Spots 4, 5, and 6 is a jumbled up mess. Looks like Intimidator got further than everybody else. And now they're lined up for lap number 2, race themselves into the 3rd race, and Darrell Waltrip gets a great start there. He has a car length and a half lead over Sterling Marlin. But on the fat track, Sterling Marlin just blows past him. As they all fall into line, settle into position behind him. Now Morgan Shepherd tried to make some kind of Hail Mary happen, and it didn't work. He ends up on his side, last place in the 4th race, as Sterling Marlin moves on to the 3rd race, which will be led down by Lord Shank next to Baby Richie. And Baby Richie's got to be the favorite here. He's got a ton of drafting help from his teammates. Behind them, Pantone and Martin Truex Jr. as well. But look at Lord Shank. It's shot out of a cannon. Might have took that turn a little too fast as he El Reco's coming out of it. And actually, it looks like he got hooked on the guardrail and flipped over because he was still going too fast by the time he made contact. Riot Isaac was caught in that mess too. As that mess bunches up the field, Martin Truex Jr. and Sterling Marlin basically parked their cars to avoid the carnage. They'll be starting in the back. And now the gates are down. The inside lane gets a good jump. Baby Richie and Pantone running in 1st and 2nd, getting bump drafted by Sterling Marlin. And look at Sterling Marlin gaining all this ground through the turns. He has all the momentum, and Baby Richie tries to throw the block. He just tosses Baby Richie to the side. and wins the thirds race. The first time a driver ever won an advance through 2 placement races. Right about here on the front stretch, he enters the Avatar state. He first moves Pantone over like it's nothing, sends Baby Richie spinning, tosses him to the side of the track like a rag doll, drafting with Martin Truex Jr. to take the win in the thirds race, moves on to the seconds race. First time a driver from the fourth race ever got to finish this high. Just an incredible drive. Won that after starting dead last on the final lap. And for the seconds race, we're going to be led to the start by Lunatic Alicia, Gator McCluskey, Rusty Wallace and Crazy Ruby. In the second row, Skeeter Davis and Clyde, and finally Sterling Marlin. This is a stacked segment, lots of fast cars. And it looks like Gator McCluskey's got the advantage on the outside lane, despite one less drafting partner. He throws a block coming out of the turns on Alicia, allows Crazy Ruby to get through for second, while Clyde gets tossed off the track and out of the race. And this is after Rusty Wallace exited stage left earlier. There he is on his roof. A lot of aggressive blocking in this race so far, but it's working for Gator McCluskey so far. He's going to lead him down with that extra drafting partner. Skeeter Davis, one of the best drivers in the series, drafting behind him. And they've run away from everybody else heading into the turns, but trouble for Gator McCluskey. He flips in the middle of the turn. Skeeter Davis gets past him and gets further than anyone else, just 3 feet away from his first career main event, and Gator McCluskey's going to have to settle for 11th once again. It's going to be Skeeter Davis back into the main event again. Sterling Marlin with a top 10 after finishing 4th in his segment. I'd say the only thing more impressive so far this year was Skeeter Davis getting a podium against the mods earlier at Martinsville. Let's now take a look and see what he can do in today's main event. He's got a lot of fast cars to go through. Starting off with the pole sitter and points leader Williams starting next to Charlie. Skeeter Davis shows off by flipping coming out of the gate. Meanwhile, William gets tossed off the track heading into turn number 1. And look at that finish. Coffee Tart edges out Far Out J for the lead basically by the pointed nose of his Camaro. Meanwhile, the drone is searching for Williams' car. He's on his side and out of the race. And come to think of it, Charlie's unaccounted for. Yep, there she is. She's on her side as well. And let's take a look at that finish. Coffee Tart by less than a bumper length over Far Out J. Only a car length between first and fourth. What a way to kick off this main event. And now let's get ready for lap number 2. This is your top 5 finishers, as we had 2 DNFs on that first lap. And Coffee Tart is in a great position here with the lead. Her car is really fast and clean air. And then the rest of the field bunches up behind her. She's got to love seeing this in her rearview mirror. One of the drivers is in the retaining wall. That looks like it was Sawyer. He stays on his wheels. The gates are down for lap number 3. And once again, Coffee Tart gets a 2-3 car length lead over everybody else heading into the turns. Skeeter Davis catches up, and now he's riding her back bumper. Skeeter now challenging for the lead. He's got to make up as many points as he can with Williams locked in 7th place. And now the gates are down for lap number 3. These guys all want it really bad. Looks like something might be wrong with Sawyer's car. And Coffee Tart gets tossed off the side of the track by Skeeter Davis. Far Out J takes advantage of this, cruises to a huge lead, the only driver that even finishes this lap. Coffee Tart went off the highest part of the wall at full speed. We got to see where her car landed, if she's even in this yet or not. And it looks like she's on her roof. We're going to show you a replay here. Just gets absolutely bodied by Skeeter Davis, and thankfully lands on her wheels, not her roof, like I said. And then look at this. Skeeter Davis gets tossed off the track by N Count. It's a crown jewel race, and everybody's doing everything they can to try and get ahead. With just 2 laps to go, Coffee Tart and Skeeter Davis are going to have a lot of ground to make up. Far Out J is just as good as Coffee Tart is in clean air, and he maintains a car length lead the whole distance of the track. N Count makes the block to save 2nd place. Coffee Tart lining up in 3rd. Can she do anything? And now the gates are down, and Far Out J is running away with this, 78th in points. Watching those 2 white cars smack each other in the sides. They fall into line trying to conserve points. They know it's over. Far Out J wins the Coca-Cola 600. Coffee Tart and N Count finally get their first career podiums as well. And here we are live at the podium. A great drive for all of these drivers. Far Out J and Coffee Tart, 2 forces to be reckoned with. Far Out J is going to move up several spots in the point standings. Those 200 points are going to catapult him probably into the 20s or low 30s when we calculate it all. All that frustration, all these other main events where N Count choked, he finally gets his first career podium. This is the rest of the top 10. Sawyer, Skeeter Davis in the top 5. William in 6th, Charlie in 7th. Charlie departed the track earlier. Crazy Ruby, Lunatic Alicia, and Sterling Marlin round out your top 10. Sterling Marlin, of course, being the first driver to ever to win 2 placement races, which is nearly impossible because they each have only 2 laps. Gator McCluskey, yet another top 15 without the top 10. Clyde and Rusty Wallace round out your seconds race. Martin Truex Jr., Baby Richie, Pantoni, Isaac, and Lord Shank. The rest of the guys that got 11 through 26. And we had 30 drivers finish the segments. It's very impressive considering it's the only 6 laps per segment race of the season. The longest race by far. If you're wondering why you haven't seen the junkyard, it's because this video was already 22 minutes long before the replays. While we look at the points, William has a 115-point lead over Skeeter Davis now. Rusty Wallace, Coffee Tart moves into the top 10 with that podium. N Count moves back into the top 5. Jimbo Rockford falls outside of the top 10 through his string of bad luck. He was once a championship contender. Gator McCluskey in 15th. Far Out Jay moves up to 26th. That is a total of 52 spots in the point standings. Absolutely impressive for him. Here's the drivers 27 through 40. We're starting to get into the field fillers now. That top 10 finish moves Sterling Marlin into 28th, only 2 points ahead of his arch rival Ross Chastain for the field fillers championship. And now getting into the true back markers. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, 52nd in points right now. He got into the seconds race, I believe, or really close to it in his only start at Sonoma. And Haley Deegan still in last place. But that car is actually fast. It'll probably end up being Kevin or Harvick or Greg Biffle that gets the wooden spoon for this year. And just a reminder, if you enjoy watching these races, you want to see your car in the second half of the season, be sure to send it out to HSL Diecast, P.O. Box 7, Wingap, PA, 18091. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you out there on the track.